Super Smash Bros., the biggest crossover series on the planet, which lets you play with Nintendo and other gaming icons which fight against each other. Mario vs Fox, Kirby vs Link, Bowser vs Ganon. This game has grown over the years as not just a fighting game but as an event. Every time Nintendo reveals a new Smash Bros., people go crazy. Speculation for the game run wild as to who will be the next fighter, what new stages are there, what game modes will we play. Every time a new character is revealed, there is no other game that can live up to all that excitement. When that character gets in, it's not just pitting them against other gaming icons, but it shows where the character stands in gaming history. That's the power that Smash has. Now we have over dozens of Nintendo characters and stages, but third-party characters jumping into the mix. We have online play, one of the biggest competitive games out there, merchandise, and Smashdown. But the Super Smash Bros. Series started all the way back in 1999, where it was just called Super Smash Bros. Created by Masahiro Sakurai, the creator of everybody's favorite pink puffball Kirby. Looking at both games, you can see a lot of Kirby's design philosophy went into Smash Bros. They not only have a few similarities in terms of control and gameplay, but Kirby was a game meant for everybody. Easy for you to pick up and play, but with enough challenge to keep seasoned players around. Smash Bros. Do the same thing, but for fighting games. It's a fighting game that is easy for you to pick up without having to learn any of those button combinations like other fighting games at the time. Games like Mortal Kombat required key inputs to perform certain moves and would cause new players to just button mash. Smash Bros. Is a much easier to understand and have two attack buttons, a standard attack and a special attack, and you can combine them with directions on the analog stick for different moves. You can jump, shield, grab, and that's basically all you need to know. That makes it easy for newcomers to understand, but if you really want to get better, you have to know where and when to do certain moves, whether you are in the air or not, or if a special move would be better. It's safe to say that Sakurai ensured that he made a simple to play but hard to master game. It was originally called Dragon King the fighting game with mannequins as the characters, but Sakurai wanted the game to have well-known and likable characters, so he went with Nintendo All-Stars. His colleague, who helped him code for the prototype, Satoru Iwata, went to Shigeru Miyamoto on the concept of using Mario characters in a game, in which he was a little hesitant at the idea. But still, without getting permission first, Sakurai made another prototype of the game with Mario, Samus, Donkey Kong, and Fox fighting. Then showed it to the higher-ups at Nintendo, and the game was officially in production. The game was released early 1999 in Japan and for the rest of the world later throughout the year. So let's talk about the full game itself. Super Smash Bros. Starts with an intro that shows you everything you need to know. A kid who is a floating hand is playing with Nintendo toys, which range from having a Mario doll to how the heck did he get a Captain Falcon one. The idea of the characters being toys has been there throughout the series' life, but it's not shoved in your face. It's a fact that makes players go, oh yeah, rather than being the main idea of it all. But this is the only Smash Bros. Where they are dolls. In future installments, they are trophies instead. We then cut to this minute-long opening, which made anyone who doubted this game regret that decision. We can't forget the part of the opening where Mario and Kirby stand off, a moment where every Nintendo's fan mind was blown. The characters clash together, we get previews of 4 unlockable characters, and then Now that's what I call an energetic logo. This logo has been the main emblem of the series from that moment and is now the natural logo of Smash. But what does it mean really? From Sakurai himself, the cross symbolizes the crossover of characters with the 4 sections representing the 4-player multiplayer. Or at least that's what the internet tells me. After the logo appears, we are greeted to a heartfelt and by that, a legendary game was born. The gameplay of Super Smash Bros. Is different from other fighting games, but it's easy to understand. You and up to 3 other players are on the stage. You get knocked off, you lose a stock. The more damage you take, the easier it is to get knocked off. The last one standing or the most kills in the time limit wins. Hazards from the stages interfere with the fight. Items randomly drop on the battlefield. If we choose not to turn them off completely, it becomes crazy. Before we start the match, we have the character selection. We have 8 characters to play from the start, and 4 more jumping in after playing the single mode under certain conditions. The starting roster just says Nintendo. There's no change in that. Every character fits well and doesn't seem like an odd choice. But when we look at the 4 unlockable ones, yeah. Okay, Luigi, that makes sense that he will be in a Smash game. Jigglypuff is a popular Pokemon, but to be added in the first Smash game, who is representing 1/12 of a Nintendo franchise. And then we have Captain Falcon and Ness. Who the heck are these guys? Captain Falcon and Ness are much different from the other characters, but they were still part of series that are to be considered Nintendo games. Sure, Captain Falcon was from F-Zero at the time, a franchise Nintendo has apparently forgotten about, and Ness from a cult classic RPG, but still, you gotta have the more unique characters in your game. These characters were made due to ease of programming, like Luigi is just a clone of Mario, Jigglypuff is a repurposed Kirby model, Captain Falcon seems to be a repurposed model of the Dragon King prototype, and Ness is unknown. He doesn't seem easy to program like the other characters, but it's fine that he's here. And overall, Smash 64's roster has the least amount of I don't like this roster, I am happy with it. There is no filler, we have no oversaturation of one series, everything works and fits in perfectly here. Well, I like the roster, but let's see how the characters play. Super Smash Bros. Has impressed me on how well and creative that a character is turned into a fighter, while throwing as many references to the original series as possible. So it makes you feel like you are truly playing that character, but not so much for Smash 64. Yes, there are some moves that correspond to their games from the past, and then you have your typical everyday Donkey Kong where the devs went, oh yeah, that's right, he has arms, we can give him a moveset on that. There's not a lot of fan service to other games. A lot of the movesets were made up for Smash Bros. And have no origins from the characters' games. That's why when we get to Smash Bros. For Nintendo Switch, you can no doubt for sure see who has been in the series the longest. While we have characters with extremely unique and creative moves, Donkey Kong has some punch thing. Well, if you go down to the data section and click characters, we can see small bios for everyone. Plus, we get to see what games they came from, which is a precursor to the trophy system in the later installments. Also, Pikachu's bio is very different from the other characters, in which it gives us a Pokédex entry instead. That would be fine, but Jigglypuff, the other Pokemon in the game, has an actual bio. It feels like they forgot Pikachu existed and just pasted it in there. Okay, enough of me rambling on, let's get into a match. Oh boy, this game is zany. It's not bad, it's just that it doesn't feel good and it's for sure a bit different compared to the other games in the franchise. When I get front of the stage, I start going crazy. It's so unnerving. I always feel like it's 50-50 if I'm gonna die or not. And look at this. Those are definitely polygons, there's no doubt about that. It obviously shows that it's the first game in the Smash Bros. Franchise. But it's still Smash Bros., the multiplayer bullet out fighter game that we know of today. You can still accumulate quite a bit of fun out of this bad boy. Items randomly appear on the stage and they can be fun. There's not a lot in the game, but we have Pokeballs, bombs, the hammer from Donkey Kong, and the sweet iconic home run bat. If you're not a total goody-goody, you can turn off the items, which I rather do in the Smash games that I am somewhat good at. But for Smash 64, crank those babies up, man. I suck at this game. I would gladly take my art container any day. But none of this would matter if the stages sucked, and thankfully there are only decent stages here. They don't annoy me to play on, and they don't have bad layouts. They all have good fun designs with few stage hazards here and there that you can no problem have avoiding if you know what you're doing. Since we only got 9, might as well go through them all. Peach's Castle. This one is not one of my favorites. The design for this one is a really odd one. So we are floating above Peach's Castle and we are fighting on top of an assortment of geometry. Well, I guess since they are toys, the stages are just random objects in the room. The intro sources of, I guess, I don't know, I don't want to dive too deep into this. Congo Jungle, what a fun one. There isn't much to talk about here. Hyrule Castle. This one I prefer more than Peach's Castle. I really love this stage. It has so many areas you can juke it out. Planet Zebes is a good stage. The acid rises up and ruins the day of anyone who doesn't know what the jump button is. Yoshi's Island, a simple design but still enjoyable. Dreamland, another simple design but still enjoyable. Wispy Woods hair blows either left or right every now and then, but it rarely affects the fight. Sector Z is one of the best stages. I like that you can fight and traverse the entirety of the Great Fox. A second ship comes down and blasts the heck out of you sometimes though. What unfortunate. Saffron City, oh boy what a stage. You can just fight on the standard platforms if you don't want any stage interference, but you can always hop on over to the doorway and these nightmares show up. We also have the Mushroom Kingdom as an unlockable stage, based from the original Super Mario Bros. We got a lot of great stages here. Okay, I have talked about the multiplayer in this game as much as I can, which you can also play with a computer controlled opponent if that's the lifestyle you choose. But what if I told you, you can play Smash Bros. By yourself? Well, let's hop on over to the single player option. As you can see, we have a wide variety of one mode. There's more or less one single player mode here, and this is what the series would later call classic mode. It's a series of fights and mini games which test your strength and skill. The problem I have with this mode is that fights are always the same every time. Your first fight is with Link, you fight a giant DK, a team of Kirby's, the Mario Brothers, break the targets, board the platforms, race to the finish. It never changes. Even after you unlock characters, it never changes things. Future entries add in randomization, keeping the mode much fresher every playthrough. Target tests and board the platform mini games are different for each character, which is just neat. The final fights are against Meta Mario, which sucks. The fighting Polygon team, who look like mysterious figures that we just don't know the origin of, / that's NES right there. They are just messed up polygon models of the characters. And then we have Master Hand, the mastermind behind everything, the main boss of the series. And after his defeat, we get this. Thanks, that truly makes me feel accomplished. The credits go by and we repeat. When it comes to the music, it's fine. There are a lot of iconic tracks, but with the Nintendo 64 feel. I gotta say, there's not a lot more I can talk about this game. It's a game that's more interesting to take a look back on rather to play nowadays. I'm not saying it's a bad game, not at all. It's just that we got far better and more enjoyable Smash Bros. Games to play nowadays. And with every installment in the series expanding on the concept of the first game, there's not much of a reason as to why you would go back to Smash Bros. 64 outside of seeing where it all began and to waste an afternoon. After playing for a few hours, you've basically seen everything this game has to give you. All in all, I have a lot of respect for this first game, and it's still fun to do multiplayer with friends. The single player mode doesn't have a lot going for it, but so did other fighting games at that time, so it's fine. Play this one to see where it all began, but you will have a better time playing the games that came after it. They all just improved on the foundation the first Smash Bros. Made and has much more refined gameplay. But they did not have this awesome commercial. Look at this thing, it's beautiful. So, did I answer the question on everybody's mind? Are you a psychopath for preferring to play Smash 64 than the other games after it? Yeah, you are.